What has gotten into you?
Can you smell that, Natalie?
It's the smell of my dreams coming true. I have waited so long to do the villains and it's finally here. It was so stressful, but I love every one of the designs I'm about to show you. I have always been a great villain lover. One look at my original characters will tell you that. So I took these designs very seriously. The original tried hard to make good villains, but fell pretty short. Sure, they had their moments, but let's be glad the romance was the main thing people kept coming back for. I'll go into better depth about the problems here individually, so let's just get right into it. There will be Season 5 and maybe 4 spoilers up ahead, so just to give you a heads up now. We'll save the biggest for last, so I'll be starting with Natalie, personal assistant of Gabriel Agreste. I feel like Natalie is one of the biggest stereotypes in the show, right under Kagami. She reminds me a lot of Mercy, Lex Luthor's personal assistant actually. She is always getting things done, is overworked, knows about her boss's evil persona and helps him, is portrayed as just hired help but turns out to be a badass martial arts knowing protector. I love her character, especially in Season 5 after she gets fed up with Gabriel's bullshit. And we get the glorious sassy Natalie. I just wish her look was a little more unique. The suit, hair back in bun, and glasses just are not all that original. The only thing that really stands out here is her red hair streak, but I never liked it. It doesn't fit her character or her design, and I feel like it was only added to make her stand out a little since her design is so bare bones. Now, with mine, I didn't actually go too far off from the original. She still needed to look like a classy personal assistant after all. So, in hindsight, all I did was free her hair and make some slight changes to her clothes, but I think they really went a long way. We know that in Natalie's past, she, Gabriel, and his wife were on an Indiana Jones-like adventures, either looking for Miraculous or just happening to find them on their journey. I doubt the Miraculous were the only things they found, so I got Natalie a special pin that she has on her scarf. It's supposed to look like a pink-colored beetle, very ancient temple-ish. For her character, she's pretty much still the same, just a little tweaking here and there. The most changes I made for her are in Season 5. Nothing too drastic, but I think it seems pretty realistic considering how fed up and sick she gets by then.
Maybe it's time we bring Lyla Rossi's psychological talents into the plan.
Excellent idea, Natalie.
Natalie went pretty fast, so let's go ahead and move on to her villain persona, Mayura. And some people might disagree, but I actually like this design, minus the thing on her head. It's just so dark and classy, and its simplicity fits well. I like both of the designs the Peacock has in Miraculous. I think they're both some of the best, and not just because I'm a sucker for a character in a trench coat. I like how they make her look alien too, just to ensure we know she is a villain for most of the show. Now, I was thinking about her power and how she uses it, and I got the idea for a more relaxed design. Something that looks like the wearer doesn't go into battle much, and here's my thoughts behind it. Her power is to use the feathers on her fan to absorb somebody's negative emotions and turn those emotions into senti-monsters. She can also pretty much make senti-monsters from will, making her one of the most powerful Miraculous wielders in the entire show. So with a power like that, you could probably imagine a lot of wielders in the past would choose not to get that much battle time. And why would they, when they can create a being that can do it for them? I wanted to really show that through the design, so I decided that whoever wears the Peacock Miraculous will look more like a ruler than a superhero/villain. Somebody who commands from the shadows and brings an aid in the form of whatever they need the most. I still wanted to keep a simple format and the alien-like quality to the look, so she still looks like a threatening villain who uses others to win her fights, even though she is being used herself.
Let me ask you just one question. Do you enjoy being Ladybug's servant? Having to wait for her to loan you Miraculous? Wouldn't you rather have boundless powers of your own?
That's 3 questions.
I'm going to do Lyla next. Her outfit and general look is okay. Nothing too special going on here. However, I think they should have tried a little harder to make her match the lies she tells. In the show, she is a compulsive liar and somehow got everyone but Marinette and Adrian to believe she's a movie star or something and knows all kinds of celebrities and even royalty. Which is stupid, by the way. I don't know what the main thing she makes people believe she is because she just throws anything and everything at them and they just believe it. But I do know one of them was a star in a movie. How come people never look up said movie she's supposed to be in? If she told me that and I completely believed her, I would look it up because Lyla is my friend, so obviously I would want to know more about the movie she's in, but no one ever does something like that. Every time Lyla is on screen, drama soon follows, so maybe that makes everyone forget. I feel like she became a much better villain once her identity was revealed, because she really is the type of character that works so much better in the shadows. And if you've seen the new season 6 episode, you'll know she's even better as the main villain. Just the way she manipulates people is just downright creepy, in the good way. Hawkmoth did that too, but since he started out as more of a cartoony, funny villain, he just doesn't really compare to Lyla. And we have only had one episode of her doing this by the time of writing this, and a whole 5 seasons of Hawkmoth, so I think that bodes well for the new season. Hopefully. On to her design now. Since I'm designing a mass manipulator, I am using psychology to help me, specifically color psychology. Taking a look at the original, the 2 primary colors are red and blue, but the blue is very dark and looks more like a shade of black. Black makes you look more intimidating, and red sends off signals of danger and aggression. This is what she is, but the show tells us that Lyla is very smart and cunning, so I believe that she would know all about color psychology and use it to her advantage. Here, she wears a white dress. White is the color of purity. She wants people to think she's pure and innocent. She wears a blue jacket over that. Blue is the color of loyalty and trust. She wants people to soften their guard around her and trust her to tell her things she can use against them later. She even has a brown bag and shoes, which pretty much means the same thing as blue. The only thing that doesn't quite match here is her hair tie, which, as you can see, looks a bit like a red flag. A red flag that no one sees because they are too distracted by her fantastical stories and charming personality. And since she is trying to make herself seem like this big hotshot, I tried to make her look like a rich girl. Or, like the daughter of a movie star or something. I'm kind of just rambling here, I completely forgot to put this in the script. For her character, there are some pretty significant changes, like massively changes the whole story type of changes. I can't say what it is though, because it crosses too much into spoiler territory. There is one thing I will talk about though. As I rewatched the show to take my rewrite notes, I got an idea for something Lyla can be. But if I were to do this, it would stretch her a bit thin. People already wonder how Lyla gets all this stuff done. So I got to thinking it would make a lot of sense if she had a partner. Not someone she thinks of as an equal, more like a minion or follower. At first I thought I could reuse a different character for this role, and I seriously considered using Zoe, since I originally planned to leave her out of the story because I hate Zoe. But I ended up needing to put her back in the story for story reasons. So I created an original character for the role. And I will be honest, I am a bit nervous about putting an original character in here because people can get a bit skeptical about them, and some will probably accuse me of putting in a self-insert. But in the end, if the character is good and enhances the story, I don't think it should matter if he or she wasn't a part of the original cast, as long as they're handled with care. Actually, I have 2 original characters that are going to be important to the story, both having to do with Lyla. I want to save their personality and story stuff for the rewrite as a surprise and stuff, but I will tell you their names. They are named Yara and Micah, and I love them. I would really like to show you a sneak peek of their designs, but I haven't drawn them yet. I have a written description for Yara and an idea that floats around in my head for Micah, so I guess I'll save those for the official rewrite too.
You know, I actually happen to be very close friends with Ladybug.
Really?
all we have left now is the big bad of the story, Hawkmoth. And let me just start with this. His design sucks, both as civilian and supervillain. Gabriel Agreste is supposed to be a famous fashion designer, but then he walks around like that. It's just so ugly. White is supposed to go with everything, and they somehow messed it up here. Like, how do you even do that? I was very happy with the all-white suit they gave him in Season 5. Massive upgrade. With my design, I know I'm a character designer, but I don't really know how to design a fashion designer character, to be honest. I feel like Gabriel would wear something simple, but classy. I wanted to make it flowy and elegant as well. I decided not to add that many details in an ironic way, and I also changed his hair because, just like the outfit, his hair is ugly. The one big detail I did add was a very large bow around his neck that is supposed to look like a big butterfly. Or moth, I guess. Oh good. I thought my mic wasn't plugged in for a second, I just had a heart attack. Turning into the character real quick, when you look it up, it will tell you that he is a moth-themed supervillain, but in the show, the line between moth and butterfly is pretty thin. So I was thinking about just making him a butterfly villain, but then decided to go with the moth since it's more unique. I will be making sure that it is clear that he is a moth villain. I'll even be making the Akuma's moths and stuff like that. Because if he's a moth villain, just use moths. Why are there butterflies? I'm guessing it's because moths are nighttime creatures and butterflies are daytime creatures, and he usually turns people into villains during the day. But out of all the things they could have made realistic, it had to be that. If this is the case, in trying to make it seem realistic, they accidentally made the stupidest plot point in the show. But back to his actual character, there are a few things I changed about Gabriel. The show wants you to think he cares about his son, but in an episode where he akumatizes himself and goes into Adrian's room looking for him, it looks like he wants to trap him in his magic book. Maybe he did that because he knew Ladybug and Cat Noir would stop him, and he wanted to keep the supervillain look up, but he seemed completely fine with giving his son trauma along the way, though. His goal of the episode was to make himself look less suspicious. So why did he feel the need to bring Adrian into it? Yeah, he lost the book, but in Cat Noir and Ladybug's eyes, he just wants to make a new inspiration book. He just seems to flip back and forth about loving his son and not really caring. My version will generally love and care about Felix. Again, I am switching Adrian and Felix's role in this story, but we'll see that Gabriel wants to protect and care for his son. He wants to spend time with him and get to know him better, but we'll also see that he doesn't really know how to do that. It will be a little bit of the classic father who doesn't know how to bond with their kid now that they're older and times have changed. However, as the story moves on, we'll also see him become more and more consumed by his obsession. Both this and his love for his son will lead to a pretty different ending that I think a lot of people will love. One more thing I added to his character is I made it to where Gabriel is a frail and bit of a sickly man, just to make him a less assuming villain. His weakness won't be really much of a plot point, but he'll probably use it to manipulate Felix with lines like, "So, you'll go against your frail father when he needs you the most?" type of stuff. Gabriel will love his son, but he will still be an awful father.
Someday your Miraculous will be all mine. I don't care how many enemies I need to throw at you to win, but I will be victorious!
Enough with all of that though, let's get to the real star of this show, Hawkmoth, whose name is now permanently going to be Monarch. And I know I just said I was going to stick to the moth theme, but I also think it's super stupid and impractical that everyone feels the need to change their name every time their suit changes. And Monarch is the best out of all the names he has had, so I'm changing it and leaving it as is. For his design, I made it very moth-like, since I know how to look at pictures of animals, unlike some designers. The purple suit and I'm gonna call it a silver ski mask, just isn't going to cut it here. There were two looks that I wanted to add together, a moth and a king. I gave him this vast wings-looking cape and another moth-looking bow thing at his neck with a fur collar because moths are fuzzy and adorable. Obviously the cape and neck thing are going to be the main points of interest here, so I didn't do anything too crazy for the outfit underneath. But I still did want to try and make it look very grand and kingly. When it was time for the coloring, I decided to go with a blue with a purplish hue. I was kind of going for a light starry sky effect if you want to hear some of my behind the scenes vision for this. And I also did the anime thing where half of the face is obscured by shadow. I think it looks very cool and threatening. As for his character, I don't really have much to say. The main thing I will change is that I will make him a threatening character from the start. He wasn't a joke villain originally, but he was more silly. That was back when they thought this was only going to be watched by kids. But as the show went on and their audience grew, they tried to make him more threatening. Which didn't really work because you would be watching one of the scenes of him doing his thing and acting all evil, and then you suddenly remember the episode where he accidentally akumatized a baby, decided to just go with it, then proceeded to argue with a literal infant and lose. A fun fact, my all-time favorite episode is Simple Man because it is just so hilarious. Hawkmoth tries so hard even under the effects of Simple Man's powers. I loved him a little more for that.
Once I have your Miraculous, you will be powerless against me. Everyone will be powerless against me. I will have absolute power!
One more thing before I end this video. We seem to be running out of characters to redesign. I only have Marinette's class and Zoe, so I wanted to ask you all what you wanted me to do. Do you want me to make one big video where I redesign Marinette's entire class and then make a separate video redesigning a Ladybug's whole team? Or do you want me to make two-parters of Marinette's class and Ladybug's team? If you want the big videos, they'll be nice and long, but will take a while to make. I don't really care either way, so just pick what you want and tell me in the comments. I have to go now, so I hope you all enjoyed. May you all have a great day, and God bless you all.